Number 1. Honda CR-V. Alright, let's talk about one of the most important compact SUVs on the road, because the 2026 Honda CR-V is on the way. And if you think Honda is just playing it safe with this update, think again. The CR-V has always been about balance, reliability, and everyday usability. And for 2026, Honda is clearly polishing that formula rather than changing what already works. Before we get into it, real quick, if you enjoy staying up to date on upcoming cars, future redesigns, and honest breakdowns without the hype, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It helps a ton and lets me know you want more videos like this. Alright, let's jump back in. Design-wise, the 2026 CR-V builds on the current generation's cleaner, more mature look. It still has that wide, confident stance, but Honda is expected to sharpen things up a bit with updated lighting, a refreshed grille, and slightly more rugged styling cues, especially on trims aimed at adventure-minded drivers. It's not flashy, but it looks solid, modern, and ready for real life, which is kind of the CR-V's whole personality. One of the biggest highlights again for 2026 is the hybrid option, and this is where the CR-V really shines. Honda's hybrid system is smooth, quiet, and incredibly easy to live with. You don't have to change how you drive, it just saves fuel in the background. Around town, it feels especially relaxed, and compared to older gas-only CR-Vs, the hybrid feels more refined and responsive. For a lot of buyers, this is going to be the version to get. Now, while the CR-V isn't a hardcore off-roader, Honda is leaning more into light adventure capability. With available all-wheel drive and drive modes designed for slippery roads or dirt trails, it's perfect for camping trips, snow, or rough back roads. Think confidence, not rock crawling. And that's exactly what most CR-V buyers want. Inside, the 2026 CR-V continues Honda's push toward a cleaner, more user-friendly cabin. Expect improved materials, a slightly updated infotainment system, and better connectivity overall. Everything is laid out in a way that just makes sense, which is something Honda has always done well. There's plenty of space for passengers, the rear seats are comfortable, and cargo room is still one of the CR-V's strongest selling points. Pricing is expected to creep up slightly, especially for hybrid and all-wheel drive trims, but the CR-V remains one of the best values in its class. When you compare it to older models, the 2026 version feels more refined, more efficient, and more premium without losing the reliability and simplicity that made the CR-V so popular in the first place. So if you've owned a CR-V before, or you're shopping for a compact SUV that does everything well without trying too hard, the 2026 Honda CR-V is shaping up to be a very smart choice. Number 2. Mazda CX-20. You know that moment when a favorite car gets just enough updates to make you genuinely excited again? That's exactly how I feel about the 2026 Mazda CX-20. It's familiar, it's thoughtful, and honestly, it feels like Mazda listened to what drivers actually want, and then made it better. From the moment you look at it, the new CX-20 doesn't feel like a totally different SUV, and that's a good thing. What Mazda has done here is refine the design rather than overhaul it. The lines are a bit cleaner, the front end feels a touch more elegant, and even the little details, like the way the lights sit in the fenders, give it this quiet yet confident presence on the road. It's not screaming for attention, but it does look premium and well composed. One of the biggest talking points for 2026 is the move toward hybrid power. Mazda hasn't gone full electric here, but the hybrid system they're introducing gives the CX-20 a boost in everyday efficiency and responsiveness that you really notice. It's smoother off the line, quieter around town, and takes a lot of the guesswork out of throttle control. Compared to the non-hybrid models from past years, this feels like a thoughtful evolution rather than a gimmick. And honestly, in a world where most of us are juggling city traffic and weekend getaways, that balance makes a lot of sense. Now, while the CX-20 isn't designed to be a hardcore off-road machine, Mazda hasn't ignored capability. With available all-wheel drive and a chassis that feels planted even when the pavement ends, it's easy to trust this thing on gravel roads or in sloppy weather. It's not lifting itself up waterfalls, but for most of us who like a little adventure with our errands, it's got just the right vibe, capable without being over the top. Inside is where Mazda's attention to detail really shines. The cabin feels more refined than ever, with materials that look and feel better than what you might expect at this price point. The seats are comfortable in a let's drive for hours and not notice kind of way, and the layout strikes that perfect balance, intuitive without feeling bland. The tech has been updated too. Smoother graphics, quicker responses, and better connectivity make every interaction feel less like work and more like, well, driving. Speaking of price, the 2026 CX-20 will sit in a range that's competitive for its class. Sure, it might be a little higher than older models, especially with the hybrid and premium trims. But when you stack up what you're getting, style, comfort, efficiency, it feels justified. Mazda has always played in that sweet spot between mainstream and luxury, and the new CX-20 doubles down on that idea. Compared to past CX-20s, this one feels more confident and more complete. The old version was already a solid choice for anyone who wanted more personality than a typical compact SUV. The 2026 model just adds another layer of refinement that makes it hard to ignore. Number 3. Toyota Camry. You know that feeling when a car you thought you knew gets updated in a way that actually makes you excited again? That's exactly what's happening with the 2026 Toyota Camry. The Camry has been one of the best-selling sedans in the world for years, loved for reliability, comfort, and everyday friendliness. And now Toyota is stepping things up in a big way. At first glance, the new Camry looks familiar, but there's something smoother about it. The body has been refined with cleaner lines and a more confident stance, giving it a look that says grown-up sporty without trying too hard. It feels like a car that wants to look good in the driveway and still turn heads at the lights. Now, as always with the Camry, efficiency is a priority, and for 2026, that means the hybrid options play a bigger role than ever. Toyota's hybrid system is one of the best in the business, and in the new Camry, it feels more seamless and responsive than ever before. Around town during your daily commute, it feels quiet and relaxed, almost like a luxury experience. And that smooth delivery really makes you appreciate how far hybrid tech has come compared to older Camry models. But wait, before you ask, yes, there's still a regular gas engine option too, and Toyota's keeping that version fun to drive. It's not a track car, of course, but it puts power down in a way that feels eager rather than sluggish. And with Toyota's available all-wheel drive on some trims, something that wasn't always an option in the past, the Camry feels more confident in rain or light off-pavement conditions. It's not an off-roader by any stretch, but it's great to know you've got that extra grip when you need it. Step inside and you'll notice that Toyota didn't just freshen the exterior. The interior feels more refined and more comfortable too. The cabin layout is intuitive, everything feels solid to the touch, and the seats are actually super comfortable for long drives. The infotainment screen is bigger and more responsive, which makes using maps or media feel way less frustrating than it used to be. Plus, the overall vibe inside just feels more modern, like a car that's ready for 2026, not stuck in the past. Now, let's talk value. Pricing for the new Camry will likely be a bit higher than some older versions, especially with the hybrid and higher trims. That said, when you consider what you're getting, improved efficiency, sharper design, better tech, and a more confident ride, it feels like a fair trade. Toyota has managed to keep the Camry's reputation as a smart, dependable choice while giving it enough upgrades to make you want one again. And compared to past models, this new Camry feels like a true evolution. It's not completely reinvented, but it's smarter, smoother, and more polished in all the places that matter. If you loved the Camry before, there's a lot here to appreciate. And if you're new to the lineup, this might be the one that finally pulls you in. Number 4. BMW X5. If you're into SUVs that blend luxury with real driving excitement, you're going to want to hear about the 2026 BMW X5, because BMW is giving this familiar favorite a refresh that feels like a genuine step forward, not just a facelift. From the moment you see it, the new X5 looks unmistakably BMW, but there's a stronger presence on the road. The lines are a bit sharper, the stance feels wider and more composed, and there's this confident, athletic look that says, yes, I'm premium, and I'm fun to drive too. It's bold without screaming for attention, which is exactly the kind of energy this SUV thrives on. One of the biggest highlights for 2026 is what's under the hood. Hybrid power is playing a much bigger role now. BMW's hybrid setup in the X5 gives you a great mix of smooth, quiet daily driving and quick bursts of power when you need it. Around town, It feels relaxed and refined, and when you want to accelerate or merge, there's more pep than you might expect. Compared to older gas-only models, this hybrid really fills in those gaps, giving you better fuel efficiency and a more confident feel behind the wheel. Now, let's talk about capability. The X5 has always been a sportier SUV, but for 2026, BMW didn't ignore what makes an SUV an SUV. With available all-wheel drive and drive modes that adapt to slick roads or light trails, it's comfortable in conditions that would unsettle other vehicles in the segment. It's not a hardcore off-roader, but it definitely handles rough roads, rain or snow, with a confidence that's reassuring and fun. Step inside, and that's where the X5 really shows its luxury chops. The interior feels more modern and more premium than ever. Soft-touch materials, thoughtful details, and a layout that feels intuitive make it a great place to spend time, whether you're running errands or heading out on a long trip. The screens are crisp and responsive, the seats are supportive but comfy, and overall it just feels elevated. Compared to past models, the cabin feels more refined, more tech-savvy, and more inviting. Like BMW really listened to what owners wanted. Of course, with all of these upgrades, pricing is going to sit at the premium end of the spectrum. The 2026 X5 will likely be a bit higher than older versions, especially with the hybrid and higher trims. But considering what you're getting, it feels justified. This is a SUV that competes with the best in luxury, driving excitement and everyday usability, and the updates make it feel like a leader, not just another option. And when you stack it up against previous X5 models, this one feels more confident and more polished in every way. The hybrid system brings a real improvement in daily driving ease. The design feels more purposeful, and the interior feels like a place you'd choose to spend time, not just settle for. Number 5. Toyota Century. You know when a car comes along that isn't just about getting from A to B, but about how you get there and how it feels the whole way. That's the vibe the 2026 Toyota Century gives off. And honestly, it's the kind of thing that makes you sit up and pay attention, even if you're used to more. This is Toyota's flagship sedan, the one that's been quietly setting a tone of refined, understated luxury for decades. And for 2026, it's gotten some thoughtful updates that really elevate what this car stands for. The Century isn't about flash or showy gimmicks. It's about presence, calm confidence, and doing the little things right in a way that just feels special. From the outside, there's a sense of reverence to the way it's styled. The proportions are purposeful and elegant, with lines that feel timeless rather than trendy. This is a car that looks like it could carry an ambassador or a business titan while still being completely at ease at the country club. In a world where SUVs and sports cars grab headlines, the Century's presence feels quietly assertive, like a classic suit that never goes out of style. Under the hood, the Century stays true to its blend of luxury and performance, with a hybrid powertrain that pairs smooth, yak-like calm with surprising capability. It delivers plenty of power while keeping things whisper quiet, and the hybrid setup helps it sip fuel more efficiently than you'd expect from a car this size. It's the kind of power delivery that doesn't jump at you, but instead welcomes you in with quiet strength. Exactly what you want when you're cruising or being chauffeured. Now, this isn't a vehicle built for off-road trails or weekend rock crawling, and that's totally fine. The Century is all about refined comfort, not rugged adventure. The suspension is tuned for serenity, and it glides over imperfect pavement with a composure that would make even the longest journey feel effortless. Step inside, and you immediately know this isn't your typical sedan. The cabin feels more like a private lounge than a driver's cockpit. Everything, from the premium materials to the way the rear seats recline, is designed for comfort that borders on indulgent. In fact, rear passengers get executive-style amenities you normally would only find in ultra-luxury cars twice the price, with generous space, plush seating, and a level of quiet that makes road noise nearly disappear. On the tech front, Toyota has kept pace too. You'll find a more modern infotainment setup and advanced safety features, but the overall experience stays focused on calm, thoughtful refinement rather than flashing screens everywhere you look. The Century's interior doesn't scream, "Look at me," but it does make you feel special the moment you slide in. And then there's the pricing. This is a top-tier luxury sedan, so expect a premium number that reflects that status. For markets like Japan, we're talking well into the six-figure range, and globally, It's being positioned to take on some of the more established high-end names in the business. But when you consider the craftsmanship, heritage, and presence you're getting, it feels like a unique alternative to the usual suspects. Compared to past century models, the 2026 edition feels like a natural evolution. It holds onto the dignity and tradition that fans love, but adds just enough modernity to keep it relevant. It's not trying to reinvent the wheel, it's trying to make the best luxury sedan better, and in my book, it succeeds.